Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What is going on, everyone? I go by RB, and this is Philly Take with RB. Now, if you are excited that NFL Draft Week is finally upon us, I'm going to need you to go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you want to stay updated on some great Philly content, go ahead and hit that subscribe, man. So there's not much to talk about really in the next couple days. Everyone, including me, we are just on the edge of our seats. I am eager. I really am to see what is going to happen Thursday night. I really want to see how things are going to play out. Are the Eagles going to move up? Are they going to move back? Who are they going to get? Who's going to fall to pick 21? I'm excited to see all of it. I don't know if I'm exactly going to stream the draft. I don't think so. But I will be making videos for each pick. Probably make one to talk about the total night for the Eagles, and I'll probably do that for each night of the draft. I don't know yet. Let me know down below what you want to see. So today we just have a few minor things to get into to talk about. The first thing I want to get out of the way is Trey Burton. Now, if you aren't aware, as you can see right here on the screen, last night the Chicago Bears cut Trey Burton. The former Eagle was in the second year, or had completed the second year of a 4-year, $32 million deal, was making $8 million a year. He ended up proving his worth here in Philly. He was an integral part of the offense and the Super Bowl team, most famously remembered for his involvement on the Philly special play. He went to Chicago. I missed him when he went, but his career really hasn't panned out in Chicago. He's been hurt most of the time. I know he had hip surgery. It's been a debacle for him, and the Bears just decided to let him go. They do not want to pay him that money. I know they went out and got Jimmy Graham, so they don't really have a use for him anymore. So a lot of people have been asking me, RB, should the Eagles go and sign Trey Burton and bring him back to the squad? My initial thought on it is no. I do not think Trey Burton really has a spot here on the team. I don't think he will be used, in a lot of different schemes or a lot of different kinds of plays, because before we had Zach Ertz and we had Brent Celek. Obviously, Celek retired, but we drafted Goddard, and I really do think Goddard is a top 10 or maybe top 5 tight end. I think the Eagles might have 2 of the top 5 talent-wise tight ends in the NFL. And like I've said, Dallas Goedert was not utilized to his full potential last year. I'm hoping that with the new change in who we have on the offensive staff, that they're going to get him involved more, because I just see, potential out of the roof for this kid. And right now, if we were to bring Trey Burton back, I don't know if that would end up taking away, some of the plays for Goddard. I don't know how we would really use him. I think we should focus on receivers in the draft, and I think we already have, Deshaun Jackson, and I think Alshon's going to go, but we have Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. I think we have enough guys here. I do not see much of a role for Trey Burton on this team going forward. Let me know what you think down below. I will say this: if the Eagles were somehow able to bring him back on a minimum contract, say no one else is drawing any interest for him after the injury and all, he's not going to demand, $4 or $5 million a year, I would think about it. I would think about bringing him back on a minimum contract. I think he's a good locker room guy, and he's definitely a cool dude, and I think he would help this team. I just don't want to spend too much money on him. That is the thing. If he was to come back on a minimum contract and get some plays here and there and just kind of contribute how he did in 2017, I would be okay with that. But if we have to give him a few-year contract and he's going to demand more money, no, I don't want any part of him. I do appreciate everything he did here, but I don't see as big of a role for Trey Burton. Now, the second thing I want to get into today, everyone's been talking about, receivers in the draft the last couple of days. Are the Eagles going to trade up for CeeDee Lamb? Are we going to trade up a few spots and try to snag Henry Ruggs? Are we going to stay put at 21, take a guy like Jefferson, and take another receiver in the second like a Rieger or a Hamler? Or are we going to trade back and hope that Denzel Mims is there? All of that has been discussed in the last few days. I mean, it just doesn't stop. We know how key this draft is for the Eagles and for receivers and all that. But I've been thinking the last day or two, and what I will tell you, I even saw a tweet, by the way, as you can see right here. Ian Rappaport said that a source told him, a GM told him, that where guys are being mocked this year is completely wrong. Things are going to blow our minds. A lot of the media guys who have been talking about their mock drafts just really haven't hit it on this year. They really are wrong. So that makes me think that I do think we're going to see a lot of draft night surprises. I really do. You could see Ruggs as the first receiver off the board or something like that. I think there's going to be some crazy things that happen. So, in terms of the Eagles, we know how key it is for them to hit on the draft. We have to come away with a receiver who will be ready to step in and perform. Maybe even 2 receivers. But the way I'm looking at it and just, watching the draft history of the Eagles, I will tell you something. And I also saw that Howie Roseman has, traded in 6 of the 9 drafts he's been in. He's traded in the first round sometime, either up or back or whatever. He did last year to get Andre Dillard. I think that Howie Roseman is not content on where the Eagles are picking right now. I do not. And knowing Howie, I know that he is a magician. He pulls stuff out of his hat. And he always finds a way to make something happen. So whether it's a big splash on draft night, I mean, that'd be crazy if we went all in for like an Odell Beckham on draft night. It would be crazy. I don't really see that happening that extensively. But I will tell you this. I have a gut feeling, no reports, just a gut feeling that Howie's going to trade up in the draft in some type of way. Now, whether that is trading up 5 or 6 picks or trading up to the Jets at what, number 11 I think it is, or number 10, and getting a receiver, the first receiver off the board, that could happen. Even if we don't, even if we stay back, say we end up with a Henry Ruggs or a Justin Jefferson or someone like that, I'm considering, and I really think Howie Roseman is considering, trading up with our second round pick, maybe packaging together the second and the third or a couple fourths, and maybe trading back up into the end of the first round for a second first round pick to get a linebacker, maybe early second or end of the first, getting a linebacker, because we know how essential the position is to this team. And it's been underrated. It continues to be more underrated in the league as we go on. But overall, if you just think about it, like, I appreciate what Nigel Bradham brought to the table. I thought he was quality for the Eagles, but he's not a top linebacker. Over the years, we've seen different guys, like D'Amico Ryans was quality for the Eagles. I wouldn't view D'Amico Ryans as one of the best. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles need a dude like a Jeremiah Trotter. We need that kind of presence. A guy who can roam the field and man that position. We need a dominant linebacker. Like we saw the Steelers trade up last year and get Devin Bush. Look at the impact he had on the team. You know what I'm saying? Some mock drafts have the Eagles selecting Patrick Queen from LSU, and he would be a quality pick in my eyes. I could see, and I think this guy is rated a little too low on a lot of people's boards. Kenneth Murray. I think he might sneak into the end of the first round, maybe even in that 24 to 27 range. So I could honestly see the Eagles. It would not surprise me to see Howie Roseman decide to trade up with the second pick for a linebacker. Everyone's been talking about, will we trade up and get a second receiver? I think that you could still get a receiver in the first round with our pick. We could trade back up, whether it's early second or end of the first, and maybe snag a linebacker that this team direly needs. This wide receiver class is so deep. You can get a guy in the third, the fourth, the fifth. And I think he really can be quality and step in for your team. Now, obviously, they're not going to have as much promise, not as much upside, experience, all that. And this is just a proposal. This is just something I've been thinking about. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But trust me, I would not be surprised if the Eagles did trade up for a linebacker and they came out of this in the first 2 rounds with a wide receiver that would be key for the Eagles and a linebacker, and still had the potential to go and get a wide receiver later on. It's just something I've been thinking about. Trust me, the draft never goes like you expect it when you're an Eagles fan. Howie always does something that leaves, people with their mouths wide open or saying, wow, like, you decided to go that route? It just always happens, and I don't see this draft any different. I just know that we need to hit on those 2 positions, and we need guys that are going to come in and start from day one. We need playmakers, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But let me know down below what you're thinking. Do you think the Eagles are going to go wide receiver with the first 2 picks? Do you think we could potentially trade up for our second pick to get a linebacker? Let me know all your thoughts down below, what you're thinking. Let me know if you're excited for draft week. Give me all your thoughts, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect. Perfect.